So this question involves angles, and we can notice very quickly when we look at the picture there's parallel lines, and there's these two dashes through the side of this triangle BFG. This is telling us it's an isosceles triangle, so straight away we should be thinking that this angle here is going to be the same as that one. Base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal, and the base angles, remember, are coming from the ends of the lines that are the same length. The parallel lines is automatically telling us that we might be dealing with alternate angles, where those two angles are the same, or we could be dealing with trapped angles between the parallel lines and a transverse line that crosses them, which are corresponding angles, or we might be dealing with a C shape where the parallel lines create the C, and we can see that those two would add up to 180 degrees. And there's lots of ways of saying this one. I prefer co-interior angles add up to. But there's lots of different ways of saying those, allied angles and various other things. So we're thinking to ourselves straight away we could be using any of these theories here, recognising that this is an isosceles triangle, and therefore we're just going to go through and decide what information do we know. Well, here we can see that we have the classic Z picture, so if we follow this around we can see that we have the Z where that's parallel to that, so these two alternate angles must be equal. So we'd basically be saying here alternate angles are equal. Now remember, you can write around the picture and give the reasons. It's a starred question, so there has to be reasons. So every time you put a number on the picture, you've got to write the reason for it. And if you do it around the picture, sometimes it's easier to see what you're doing rather than trying to write out a sentence or two down here. We said already that because this is an isosceles triangle, that this angle and this angle are the same, so that's 65 degrees also. And again, a little arrow there with the reason. And we just say base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal. And then we realise that we've got a triangle here, so BFG creates a triangle, which then allows us to work out this angle here, because we recognise that angles inside a triangle, the interior angles, add up to 180 degrees. So this angle here is 50 degrees, and so we've basically got to give the reason again. Angles inside a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So again, 180, take away 65 degrees, take away 65 degrees equals 50 degrees. And because we then know that these two angles meet at a point on a straight line, then these two angles must add up to 180 degrees. So we can write here 180 take away 50 degrees equals 130 degrees, and again we'd have to give the reason. So angles that meet at a point on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So we now found all the missing angles, we found the value for x. Start question, so we should really finish off with the statement that x equals 130 degrees. We have given reasons for the answer throughout, so that would be enough to get you full marks for this kind of question. The key thing to recognise again is looking at pictures. Parallel lines suggests it could be any of these theories that we might be using. Look for key mathematical notation in the exams. Dashes through lengths means that they're the same length, and because we've got a triangle, two sides are the same length, then we're dealing with an isosceles triangle, and then we recognise base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal, and the question then is kind of logically followed through using the background theories that we know about shapes and angles.